Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Page. It's Tuesday, 29th June, and I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, Windies maintain unchanged squad, and in our feature for this evening, Christina Memorial Swim Camp is on. We'll take this break, and I'll be right back.
Travel has become an essential part of our daily lives. We look forward to our annual leave so that we can go to that exotic destination we dream about all year. Even though we had to deal with heavy security guidelines and restrictions, this has never hampered our ability or desire to move around. Today, COVID-19 has placed major restrictions and protocols on how we approach travel. I still wish to travel, and I'm sure many people out there still wish to travel. However, it is our duty to be responsible while traveling. Practice safety guidelines at home and during your travels so that we all can remain safe. A safer Nevis depends on you. Cheers.
Well, I'm back, and we begin with cricket. The Cricket West Indies selection panel yesterday named an unchanged 13-member squad for the third CG Insurance T20 International against South Africa. The match would have started earlier today at 2 p.m. The 5-match CG Insurance T20 series is currently 1-1 after the first two exciting matches of the series. Two-time world champions West Indies won the first game on Saturday, while South Africa fought back to win the second game by 16 runs on Sunday. The selection panel is happy to retain the same squad, says Chief Selector Roger Harper, for the third CG Insurance T20. With this series in the balance, we would like to give this squad another opportunity to display how well they can play together. We are aware that there are still a number of T20s ahead, so there will be opportunities for other players going forward. The full squad: Andre Fletcher, Lendl Simmons, Evan Lewis, Chris Gale, Kyron Pollard, captain, Nicholas Pooran, vice-captain, Jason Holder, Andre Russell, Dwayne Bravo, Fabian Allen, Kevin Sinclair, Obed McCoy, and Fidel Edwards. Sticking with cricket, the Cricket West Indies women's selection panel has named the West Indies women's senior and A-team squads for the T20 International Series against Pakistan. The West Indies women's senior team will play 3 CG Insurance T20s against Pakistan women from June 30th to July 3rd, with the West Indies women's A-team also playing their historic first-ever 3-match T20 series on the same dates. Antigua's Coolidge Cricket Ground and Sir Vivian Richards Stadium will host the series, with the A-team matches preceding the senior team matches in back-to-back double-header fixtures. The full squads for the T20 squad: Stephanie Taylor, captain; Anisa Mohammed, vice-captain; Alier Aline, Shamila Connell, Brittany Cooper, DeAndre Dutton, Chanel Henry. The twins, Kesia Knight and Kishona Knight, are in as well. Haley Matthews, Chadian Nation, Charisma Ramharak, Shakira Selman, and that's the big team. In terms of the A-team, Renice Boyce is the captain, Shabika Ganjabi is the vice-captain, Shanika Bruce, Cherry-Ann Fraser, Janelia Glasgow, Shanita Grimond, Ganesha Isaac, Zeta James, Jahina Joseph, Kiana Joseph, Mandy Mangru, Kesia Schultz, Steffi Sugrim, Rachel Vincent, and Rashada Williams. We wish them all the best. We'll take this break, and I'll be back with our feature for this evening.
War between cats and dogs.
Well, I'm back, and swimming is in the spotlight. The organizers of the now annual Christina Memorial Swim Camp have informed that the swim camp is indeed on for this year. Let's take in this exclusive interview with Terry Andrews. The privilege is mine to speak with Terry Andrews, and normally when I talk to Terry Andrews, it's something to do with swimming. And so today is the same thing. We're talking about a swimming exercise upcoming. First of all, Terry, tell us a little bit about the historical data pertaining to the Christina Memorial Swim exercise.
Right. Well, as we all know, there's a deep-seated fear of the ocean here, and a lot of that stems, we believe, from the Christina Ferry disaster, which happened, it'll be 51 years ago, this August 1st. And unfortunately, the reaction to that hasn't been to learn to swim, but instead that we really have this deep-seated fear of the ocean. So last year at the 50th anniversary, our Premier Mark Brantley announced the beginning of these Christina Summer Swim Immersion Camps. And the idea is, and this is huge, it's a first step towards getting swimming into the curriculum of the schools here, so that we can really change the talk and the mindset of what people perceive of swimming and just being safe in the ocean.
Speaking of that, so we have an exercise upcoming. Could you give us some dates and some information?
Absolutely. So this has been in the planning for almost a year now, and the idea of these Christina Summer Swim Camps, they're going to be facilitated by Ann McClendon and run by the Swim to Win instructors. So they're going to be professionally trained instructors. We have partnered with departments of education, youth, and sport. This is a government initiative, and so we're going to have 3 weeks of camps and further instructor training. So the first camps run the week of I'm going to have to double check here, is the 12th to the 16th. We have 2 sessions, morning and afternoon.
What times?
From 9 to 12, and then from 1:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
And government's providing transportation, and again, this was all planned a year ago. Now things have changed yes, in the last month. And so we have been given approval from the COVID task force to commence with our registration. So right now our drive is to get as many names and registrations as possible, and then obviously next week we'll revisit this with the task force as to how we can do this, how many numbers we can actually accept, and how to run it. But the first week is scheduled for the 12th. The second week is the 19th to the 22nd, and that's going to be a camp specific to the Cicely Brown Integrated School, so the special needs children. We're actually partnering with Eden Life Center on that, so that training will be held up in her pool. Okay. Dr. Miranda's pool, I know that you probably know, with her mother and the history of teaching swimming here. And then the second half of that week will be further instructor training. So we already have 12 instructors. We're hoping to increase that number to at least 16 with our ultimate goal of 20, and further training on some new in-water volunteers, which a lot of them came from our parents who have come down to Swim to Win and gotten involved, and so they want to join the movement. And then the last week would be the week of, and let me check again here, it's the 26th to the 30th. Again, there would be a morning, afternoon, or a morning session and an afternoon session.
Is there a specific age group that you're targeting?
So again, with government and with Mrs. Zanella Claxton, we're working on the primary school. So each school was designated so many spots. We had originally, prior to the last month and the COVID outbreak, been looking to target 200 to 250 children. Those numbers may change, which is why we're trying to encourage everyone to get in and register early, because it'll be on a first come, first serve. But primary school, ages 5 to 12. And again, focusing more on first-time swimmers, not ones who have been involved with Swim to Win already, but really trying to reach swimmers and youth who have not had that opportunity as yet.
Now, this sounds as if it's going to be very costly. How much would the registrants have to pay?
Well, thank you to our Premier and to Mr. Eric Evelyn and the Department of Sports. This is free. And so this is a government sponsored. They recognize the importance of this. I mean, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, one of the leading causes of death, as you know, is drowning. And we have that happen far too often here in the Federation. And so they know that this is a serious subject and something that needs to be addressed. So government, this is all sponsored by, this is a first big step towards getting swimming into the school curriculum.
Exactly where is the venue?
So the venue, we decided to use Tamarind Cove, Tamarind Beach this year. It's a very protective cove. We have approval to go down there. What's nice is because these camps are going to be running basically from 8:30 to 4:30, we don't want to be on a beach where people are walking their dogs. And again, safety is always our highest priority, both for the water conditions, the calm seas, but also with COVID protocols now. So the fact that we can be at a beach where we don't have interaction with other people, we can then control and monitor the participants much better.
Speaking of Tamarind Cove, Terry, people are accustomed to you being at Orly. So put this into perspective. You're at Orly, where do they find Tamarind Cove? How close is it?
So Wally, so I'm losing things. Tamarind Cove is really right below Cliff Dwellers.
Okay.
So the access road is across from Spring Mountain Road there.
Okay.
And so the beach there is between, say, Seabridge and Cliff Dwellers.
Okay.
So it's a very nice, very beautiful little protected cove, nice clean beach. Shallow waters. So because we're going to be having first-time swimmers, we really wanted to, again, always watch for safety.
Speaking of safety, I understand that strict COVID protocols will be adhered to. Can you speak to that aspect?
Well, again, safety, highest priority, and we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we're very, very cognizant of that. Task Force has always been very good about giving Swim to Win approval based upon our COVID protocols. So there's always mask wearing when they're in the yards, hand sanitizing. Most importantly, we keep the groups very, very small. The swimmers stay with the same instructor and in-water volunteer. They have their designated caps and goggles, which are kept specifically to them. They're sanitized. And we keep the groups, separated by proper distancing. So as best we can. Now, again, the thing with swimming, as you know, we're outside. We're in the salt water, and so, that helps mitigate the possibility of transmission. But also Anne, again, the developer of Swim to Win and our teaching protocols, has adjusted our manner of teaching. So although we have to be close to the swimmers, we have to have our hands on them, but we don't teach them face to face as far as when we're talking about blowing bubbles or learning to get a breath in the water. We're not face to face with them. We work off to the side.
Speaking of Anne, could you just remind the folks Anne's involvement with Nevis? I mean, she has done quite a bit.
Anne's amazing. I mean, I wish and hope all of you could meet her. She loves this island. She found Nevis years and years ago through the Cross Channel Swim. When I started involving Special Olympics with Cross Channel, she brought delegations down from the United States. She's based in Maryland. She has 35 years of experience of teaching swimming, also teaching triathlon. And even more importantly is she is the head delegate, the swimming delegate for Special Olympics International and the developer of beach games for Special Olympics. So she has that whole aspect that she brings to it, because the one camp that we are doing is specific to the special needs school. So she's amazing, and she does this out of love for this island and recognizing the need, and she's an incredible woman and very dedicated to this program.
Finally, as we wrap up, Terry, look into the camera. Any final words that you have to share with the general public?
Well, I would just encourage you, here's a huge opportunity to get your child into the water and in a safe environment, and to learn proper water safety. I cannot guarantee at the end of 5 days they're going to be an Olympic swimmer, but they're going to be much safer and much more confident in the water. Government is offering this to us. All the departments of education, sport, youth are heavily involved in this. It took us longer to get the registration started because we were waiting due to this latest outbreak.
And where can they register, by the way?
Department of Sport.
Okay.
Department of Sport, as always. So this is really our week of registration. So I just encourage everyone who's interested to go down, get your child child registered, at which point then we can address with the task force about numbers of participants and the group size and all of that. And then hopefully that we can have 3 fabulous weeks of making our first big step into getting all of our citizens to be confident and comfortable in the water.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. It's not only Anne we have to thank the local trainers and instructors as well. And you, of course, Terry, would be one of those. We thank you so much for your dedicated service as well. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And Curtis, as always, I can't thank you enough and the support that you give to the Swim to Win program. I know that you're a swimmer yourself and that you recognize just the beauty of the sea and the wonderment of the sport of swimming and the importance of being safe in our water. So I thank you, as always, for always coming out and support.
Welcome.
All right.
Looking forward to a great camp.
Thank you.
Well, that's our package for this evening. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit. But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and sacrifice. Have a good night.